I saw an interesting TED talk recently where the guy was telling us how in a movement the really important guy or lady isn't the lone nut who starts the movement. It's actually the first follower who copies what the lone nut has done. And I can totally identify with this. 20 years ago, well, just over 20 years ago, I was the lone nut who made the pulsar pump. Then about 10 years into it, I got it published, well, a guy published it in a thing called Practical Farm Ideas, spring 97. And still nothing happened. And I didn't know this thing about lone nuts. And no one took me seriously. So I lived in Ireland at the time, which is there, and I introduced it to people in Ireland, and I was the lone nut, so nothing happened. I went to England. I went to a place in Wales called McContlett, and they have a fantastic eco centre there, but they didn't do anything. And then I spoke to people in Southampton University, in Rugby University, and there was always the lone nut problem, because people, no matter how scientifically trained, pass judgment based on being social animals, and I was not a leader or anything approaching a leader, so they took the lone nut thing much more seriously than any of their scientific training. Anyway, I also went to Germany. I went up about here to a place called Springe, and they had a centre there. I went to Freiburg, which is down here, and I went to Basel, Switzerland, which is about there. So there's where Basel is. And I met a guy who was actually, he's famous for putting solar box cookers on the map, and he didn't even want to speak to me. He spoke of my Comish pump to his wife when he was trying to get out of talking to me. Anyway, it's kind of funny because I eventually, away from Ireland, where sun is unobtainable sometimes, I got into solar cooking much later. Anyway, lone nut, nothing happened until finally Matt in Cornwall, which is oh, it's not working, sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button. Cornwall is down here. Anyway, Matt copied my pump last year and put his video on the internet, and that was it. Suddenly lone nut was over. He was first follower who and credibility ensued. So last year he did that. Now this year, up to, in May, there was the first scientific piece on the pulsar pump was published, and that's over 20 years, and it's all thanks to Matt that anything happened. So why I want to speak to you about that is because I'm still the lone nut on two things which are currently socially unacceptable because I'm not a leader. So if you really want to do something, and on either of these two projects you can become the first follower, and this is the Tracking Solar Accumulator project, which has been out for several years, but the most recent developments are what's going to make it really work. And this little diagram shows some of the most recent developments. This was in Art and Science Fair in Toronto on May the 8th, and this is the model of the Tracking Solar Accumulator, and here is the other one. So either of these two things, this one is what's it called, the Solar Design T-square and clam shaped solar cookers. If you want to make a mark on this planet, basically, either of these projects, if you actually do it and report it, it makes a big deal, because currently I'm on solar cooking websites, and being the lone nut, people are, I don't know, 90% disrespectful, because they cannot see, because no one else, they're all waiting for someone to make the first move. It can't be me, it can only be someone else. And most people, they're stuck in this social animal thing where they only follow a crowd, and there's no crowd yet. Anyway, this is one, sorry, tracking solar accumulator. Oh, sorry, where are we here? Sorry, I've gone wrong here. And this is the Solar Design T-square and clam shaped solar cookers. I've cooked food with one of these, and potentially extremely useful, but people are playing chicken with each other, and not the type of chicken that tries to do anything. It's the chicken that hides. So hopefully one of you is brave enough to be the first follower and make the difference. Thank you.